Okay, so welcome to another awareness talk, another conversation. Um, and it's been a while since I have met a lot of you, since I have seen a lot of you, since I have had the opportunity to discuss newer topics with all of you. So you can, in the meanwhile, because we all know that we have a limitation of time for these talks and these conversations. All those who know me, all those who listen to me often, all those who I talk to often through these sessions, etc., you can send your hal chal to me in your chat in the chat box. How you have been doing, what you've been up to, how's life been, uh, and while you all are doing that, I will introduce today's topic. There are definitely going to be new people, which I see, new faces, and then there are regular faces. And today's topic is going to be around understanding what do we mean by essence? What do we mean by soul loss? What do we mean by power loss? What are these terms, and what are these? It's just, मतलब मेरे को अंदर से इतना खुशी होता है इस topic को करके because like everybody has certain topics which they practice a lot, which they use a lot in their own practice. This has been one of those topics for me, and I've been we every time we keep these conversations, there are back end conversations that happen with the program team, with the joining hands team, and we come up with topics and we come up with things. So I said, while I know you have made me the in charge of professional success, but of course my work goes beyond that. So can we do something which is overlapping? And while, with all due respect to all the therapists who are designated in their own areas, I don't want to, overstep or cross my boundaries because these are designated spaces. I said, let me talk about a topic that covers everything, but then I will connect it with success, job, profession, all of that. So if you've come here with very strong professional notions, we'll wrap it up. We'll try and tie it in how we can use these ideas, methods with your professional success eventually. But the goal is larger. The goal is not only about your businesses, your jobs. And today I will try to speak a bit less and have conversations if you would like to. And I plan to do a very mini process because as I will talk about the topic is too vast. The topic is too delicate. The topic is too beautiful, but delicate. Delicate is the right word for me. And even though some of you who message me and I get delayed in getting back to you, I could be an unavailable person, but I am not a non-committed person. I am a committed therapist. So I will not do any session that will open up things. And after that, I will not be available to answer the questions. So we will be doing a very short process, which can be tied down, which can be wrapped within the talk, so that even if after this talk I am not around, it doesn't open up Pandora's boxes and everything. So for that, we have different spaces. We do the required work in the right space. So what is what is the idea of this topic? What I guess joining hands topic is soul. Let me read the exact topic. Wait, because it तो इतना सारा terms हो जाता है. I will speak from my heart, but what is the topic? Healing the lost self, soul recovery, and inner strength, right? So what I want to today talk to you about, it is a conversation, it is a discussion around the idea of what do we mean by soul loss? What do we mean by power loss? Can you, those of you who are regular, those of you who are, some of you are wonderful therapists, some of you are practitioners, some of you are, energy healers. Can we have a healthy discussion, all of us, rather than, I don't like all of those things. Okay, मैं सुन के देखता हूँ कितना इसको आता किसको नहीं आता सब अपने मैं मैदान के experts होते हैं, just like I would feel I am an expert in my field, you all would be expert in your own fields. So, and it's a beautiful platform, joining hands. So every time I try and bring all people together, that let's have a healthy discussion. सबको सब कुछ पता है यहाँ पे, वही same जनता हर session में आता होएगा, वही same सुनता होगा, सबका अपना versions, everybody has their own versions. So for me, these terms, soul loss, power loss. In the meanwhile, feel free to type in the chat box. Huh? I will just read in between. These terms very shamanic in nature. These are derived from the originally from shamanic principles. But that is not what we are here to talk about. This is one practice that as therapists grow, some people go into the area of psychotherapeutic work, some people go into the area of cognitive work, some people go into the area of energy healing, some people, go into the area of spirit communication, spirit calling, going beyond and outsourcing, having spiritual vendors to facilitate healing. So whatever your source, whatever your method may be, this approach is applicable in all areas. So even though the terms are derived from the shamanic schools, the concepts are similar in multiple schools. Whether you are so many regression therapists joining hands has, so many constellators joining hands has, and you guys are that, and you would know what I'm talking about. These impacts, these methods are discussed whether you are a hypnotherapist. These methods are discussed whether you are a shamanic practitioner. These methods are discussed whether you are a constellator, whether you are an inner child practitioner. In the end, what are soul losses but nothing, but inner children, whatever you may bring, so many, even in Reiki, when we call about energy healing, removing certain things, bringing in certain energies, these concepts can be replicated, just that the terminology changes. So let us start by using a terminology for today that I talk in. And if you have doubts, we can mellow it down and we can connect it at the level, at the modality, at the method that you understand. So for me, if I understand, today my laptop is far away. Usually I draw on the whiteboards and everything. So today think of visuals in the air. So, if I think about energy healing work, all of us understand that beyond this gross body lies a subtle body, lies an energy body. We all agree, yes or no, right? जिसको कोई ऑरा बोलता है, कोई बायोइलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड बोलता है, कोई प्राणा बोलता है, कोई कुछ भी बोलता है, कोई बायोल्यूमिनस फील्ड बोलता है, whatever the thing is, there is something around us. Now visualize that, like let's say if I'm sitting like this and there is and there's an egg-shaped covering, there is a beautiful field which is beyond me, which is my energy essence. I was born with a certain field. I was born with a certain structure, just like how my physical body has been growing, my energy body is also expanding. But is the journey that linear? No. There are obstacles, there are obstructions, there are things that happen with me in between as I move on further in my life. So let's say, idhar se khathoda pada. There's a hammer that came from here, which is of a childhood breakup. Then maybe somebody, khuda na khasa, whatever something happened, let's say another hammer, another rod, ekdam se chori, chaku churi aayi of, somebody dying in the family, sudden loss of somebody. Maybe there was not a sudden thing. Maybe I was grown, I was born, and there was always something, parents having conflicts, maybe, certain forms of abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, whatever may be happening. Certain obstacles, obstructions, or disruptions that were constantly happening from outside. Now, if I'm talking about a luminous field, I'm talking about an aura, I'm talking about an energy field, which is around me. If my body is interacting with all of that drama, it is but obvious that my energy field is also interacting with that drama, yes or no? So for today, can we replicate? Don't worry about the terms, and don't think these are new terms. Just for today, can we use essence? Because I want to talk about a juicy word. I don't want all the energy healers to be all excited about energy right now. Let's use a juicy word, essence. That this is my essence. My field is my essence. That my essence has been interacting with all the challenges, with all the goodnesses, of course, but also with the challenges of life. And this every time something very strong, every time something very overwhelming, every time something very traumatic. Now, trauma is a very overused word in our circles, but I have to use it to explain what I want to do. Anytime and every time something like that happened, this vital essence got disrupted. Kabhi wo dab gaya, sometimes it got, punctured, sometimes it got pressed. It is malleable. You can mold it, you can change it, you can, move it. And sometimes it got punctured, sometimes it got whole, sometimes it got disrupted. But then there were certain times where the shock was too high, where the disruption was too big. Like how we zone out, that sometimes when so much of drama is happening, we just zone out. That a part of me zoned out. Let me try and draw it for, on Zoom's whiteboard to help you all understand how am I talking about this fragmentation. Uh, Wait, where are the whiteboards now? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's say time I open something. Okay, let's say that I'm not one of those people who says my drawing is not nice. I actually draw well. It's just that technologically, I wish I had more devices to draw. It's nice only. Let's say this was my aura, this was my essence, this was my energy field. And something really shocking, something really troubling, something really traumatic happened. And it hit me so hard that a part of me just sliced out like a pizza. And then eventually the outcome was that actually a part of me became like this. What would we call about this in English? What is this process? As if something got chiseled out, something, a fragment of a certain piece got cut. This in energy terms, if we try and understand, it doesn't happen exactly like this. This is just a metaphorical depiction of what I'm trying to talk about. A part of my energy, a part of my memory, a certain consciousness just steps out of my field, just as if I lose a part of my essence. That is one way to understand that I have lost a part of me. Have you often, thought of, heard yourself saying that, हम तो अपनी उम्र में क्या हुआ करते थे, फिर कुछ हुआ, उसके बाद से हम बदल गए. Or I used to be such a happy, chirpy person, and after that, father died, mother died, or, Dadaji's all wealth went away, or whatever happened. And I just lost a part of me. These indirect ways of talking about how I feel I have lost a part of me, I have lost a certain self, is what we are trying to talk about. That something so, overwhelming happened to me that a part of me fragmented out, a part of me separated out. And this is one of the ways to understand the concept of soul loss. Now, in the larger context, I can go on and actually discuss the larger idea of soul. These are just terms. That is why I'm using essence loss, because actually it's not the higher soul. Your soul is intact. The larger idea of your soul is always intact. Very well put, losing an integral part of yourself. But the term is given as soul loss. When you lose that part, yes, dissociation is one. So dissociation actually, so you begin to disassociate. You begin, a part of you just disassociates. Now, it happens at multiple levels, it can happen at multiple levels. Sometimes this pizza slice that sliced out stays in the periphery, stays in my area, but is just disconnected. It's just disassociated. Sometimes it's just pushed out and, we feel it's lost. Sometimes it's like, there are multiple ways. We can go on and on, but today I don't want to make you all teachers of soul loss and power loss. We have to discuss the concept. We have to understand the crux of it. Sometimes it's like a jiggly piece of mass, which is just latkoing. And, this is just one attack that happened. Imagine that, pizza slices being taken out from this area and from this area and from this area. How would my aura, how would my energy field look like? It would become like a funny thing if we look go back to the image, it would look like multiple holes. Wait, it's taking time. Chalo, jab tak ye khulta hai, just imagine that there are so many cavities to it. There are so many parts to. Is it required? Do I draw? I don't know. It's my internet or what is taking so much of time today. Oh, too many people have begun to draw. Let me. So just imagine one pizza slice came out from here, one pizza slice came out from here, one pizza slice came out from here. My beautiful oval has now become very asymmetrical, very random. And can you see all these pockets? These are called as, in our term, as voids now. These are the areas where actually my essence, my part of my integral parts of myself lied, and now they have stepped out. These are voids, they are empty sockets, these are empty pockets left. What happens jab ghar ke aaspas, when there is extra rain that happens, a lot of just actually imagine too much of torrential rain happened on your energy, and actually pieces of, road, pieces of mud, pieces of all the concrete got rubbed off. What happens? Gaddhe ban jate hain, holes get made. And what happens in those holes? Often people fall, often people, experience the kichad, the debris, all the all the dust and the dirt starts coming in here, these pockets. So as a result of what we are talking about, soul loss, what happens is we begin to feel empty. We begin to feel multiple symptoms can happen. Just imagine a part of you is being lost. Sometimes you happen to become numb after those situations. Sometimes you happen to feel so disassociated with reality. Sometimes you begin to, simply shut yourself from that particular part. Let's say a certain thing happened in a certain area of your body. Some clients will come to us and say, that part of my body does not respond to any touch, any hug only. Sometimes you become very off to a certain emotion of a certain situation. They say, I don't like being hugged, or maybe I don't, feel any love. I don't know what do these people keep on talking about? Heal your heart, send love from the heart. My heart feels nothing. Sometimes a part of us becomes numb, so as if a part is gone. But sometimes we feel something, a personality which was a part of us, a certain quality, a certain trait has been withered off, has been rubbed off, has been cleared off. We were very happy, we were very bright, it's gone. We were very good at something, it's gone. Oh, Ujjwal, I used to paint till so and so. Recently, 3 days back, a childhood friend of mine, we were just talking about, we were sharing memes on Instagram, and some random thing I sent her, and then she said, बचपन में मैं बहुत सारे art, and the meme was something about it, how Indian parents have a tendency to save their children's art, and so there was this new product of how you can put it into a file. I said, you should do this. And she said, but my parents were very opposite. They had a tendency to throw my art, and I used to make really nice canvases and blah 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 la la la. And she said, there was this time when I really put in this effort and I did some fingerprinting and XYZ kind of art. And after I came back from school, I saw that in the dustbin. And I felt so bad about my mother that since then, since class 8th, I've never painted. I've never picked up any color, any paint. Moments like these. I used to be so good at painting. It's all gone. A part of you, a certain quality of you, a certain trait of you, it's just gone. It's out. These are certain symptoms and certain examples of understanding how we lose certain vital essence that walks out of us. And this part has now, been given a lot of nomenclature in multiple healing methods. In inner child, we call it, fragmentation. In, shamanic terms, there are different kinds of losses. You call them as soul loss, you call them as power loss, you call them as heart loss, multiple different parameters, yeah, and different metaphors are given to it. Sometimes we say a power animal has walked out, this has walked out, that has happened, that sometimes in the entity world, if you have to understand from the regression point of view, entities, are these fragments are seen as sometimes entities as well. I remember having a case once where, I'll first explain the concept of entity. What is an entity in English? Anything, any object. So don't go into the spirit world, okay, a ghostly sense thing only. Just, these things are seen as lumps of energy. These are like not just mass of energy, but just, mass of flesh, but mass of energy, just fluctuating, just bobbling here and there, wobbling here and there. And what do you do with them? What do you work with these essences, you make these parts, you make these energy sources as bridges to understand what happened. And then you work with them. In inner child work, we see them as parts of ourselves. In trauma to essence work, we call them as strategies. And, these are my strategies, which just stepped out. And then I became an aggressive person, or I became a manipulative person, or I became an XYZ kind of person. What strategies did I build at that time when a part of me left? So multiple nomenclature, given to this energy loss, this loss of essence, this loss of self. Now, these loss of self affects multiple aspects of our lives. While, as I said, while joining hands is asked me to talk about professional success and everything, I just want you all to have an overall picture. Let's say, sometimes about creativity. I just gave you an example of my friend. Let's say today she's a doctor and she feels she's a very, she's a very left-brained, left-oriented doctor. She's very good at her work, but she often says, Ujjwal, my creative sense is just, I don't feel it. And I know her for most close to 15, 17 years now. And she was one of the most creative girls in our batch. She was one of those exceptionally good poets and, debaters and people who used to have great extemporaries. She used to flow when she used to speak. And, while I have not seen a lot of her art, but I can very well believe that she would have been very creative. So a certain part of you, as if you feel certain qualities are lost. And when you're growing up, you feel that you don't possess that quality. Sometimes it affects your sense of relationships. You feel that, मुझसे प्यार होता ही नहीं है, I just don't like all these lovey-dovey things. Or maybe it affects your intimacy, your intimate life. That, XYZ thing happens and I just don't feel feel like going ahead with anything that has to do with intimacy. Or maybe a certain part of my body feels so numb, it does nothing to me. Even though mentally the idea of it is great, mentally the idea of it is very luring, it's attracting. But when I'm supposed to do it, I just feel so abrasive to the idea of it. Or maybe, your playfulness, your happiness, your joy. Or as I'm going to knit the topic to power today, you just feel a certain sense of loss of power. Like कि मेरा एक charisma होता था, मैं जहां जाता था, मेरी एक presence होती थी. You just sometimes begin to feel that the presence is gone. And we give multiple names to it. ये हो गया होगा, वो हो गया होगा, मेरे, समय खराब हो गया. Multiple, ठीक है, all the layers put into use. But from the energy perspective, it may have happened that a certain part of you just leaked out. A certain essence of you just got leaked out. And how do we see it in the life of professional success and jobs? When I'm going to come to power loss in a while, that sometimes, you were so active, you were so committed, you were so passionate about doing things in your life, and now you're just not interested. Maybe you were so alive, even in manifesting bigger job opportunities, now you just don't feel like doing anything. Or maybe, you had a certain rutba, but something happened with your boss or something happened in your office, and a part of you just felt that, you don't have it anymore in you. Or maybe somebody said something to you, or la, whatever must have happened. Some overwhelming situation changed your current reality. This soul loss, this power loss, this loss of essence can influence any part of your life, not only professional success, any part of your life. So while you're listening to me, it must have become a monologue right now. I want you all to now sit for a minute and think. All that I've spoken about, do you resonate? Is there any part of you, or is there any timeline that you remember कि यार उस वक्त तो मैं ऐसा हुआ करता था, उसके बाद से एकदम से मैं बदल गया. 8th क्लास तक तो मैं बहुत पढ़ाई करा करता था. Something happened 9th क्लास से मेरे मार्क्स कम आने लग गए. फलाने फलाने समय तक तो मैं ऐसे ऐसे करा करता था. And after that, I just didn't feel like doing it. Think about a certain life incidents where you felt, forget about the words of soul loss. No, you don't even know if there is any soul right now. Just think about as if a part of you, an integral part of you, like one of the participants said, or like how I like putting it as a vital essence. Can you think of any instance, any quality, any trait, anything that you just feel that I lost it. It just walked out of me. Anybody who'd like to type it out? I know, I understand these are personal details, but so you can even direct message me on chat, but I would like to know that if what I'm talking about is even resonating with any of you. Somebody is writing to me about their school mem. Interesting. I will not say it out loud, but oh, interesting. This is what I'm talking about. Somebody is writing to everybody. Body shaming made me feel as if I don't like myself anymore. Interesting. Could have lost some trait and feeling happy about it too. Elaborate? I didn't understand. Sometimes, yeah, of course, like let's say I was a very angry person, let's say, and I'm not anymore. I can be happy about it. But I'm talking about in essence. I'm talking about, as if कभी कभार दिल से लगता है that, एक essence ही मेरा चला गया, the juice of my energy, it's just, it's just fizzled out. It's just, it's vaporized. I don't like to cook. कोई बात नहीं, मत cook कीजिए. That I'm talking about an essence again. If you feel that you felt that something happened and then you lost a part of you, to not be seen anymore and yet want to succeed in profession, which अच्छा मेरे ख्याल से I have not been clear in asking what I wanted to. I don't like to dress up. I used to be a very good singer now. एक आंसर तो चलो मुझे मिला जो मुझे सुन. Yes, imagine something happened. Fair. So some of you are I lost interest in life after I lost husband. A simple thing as singing, in the shamanic circles, they say, the moment. So, there's I'm forgetting the exact poem, but it's a thing that, the day you will stop beating to the, dancing to the beats of the drum, the day you will stop singing, the day you will stop jumping, know that you've lost a part of yourself. It's just a funny way of, it's an indirect way of saying that, that जैसे आप कुदरत के साथ खेल नहीं पा रहे हो, उछल नहीं पा रहे हो जीवन में, joyful नहीं feel कर पा रहे हो, that's a sign, that's a symptom that a certain part of you has begun to fizzle out. So सबके अपने अपने whatever, चलो तो किसी को कुछ तो समझ आया what I was talking about, that something happened, and to protect your own sanity, to protect your own self, a part of you had to fragment itself out. Now we will go to the next topic. We can continue to discuss this part, this topic as much as possible. Like, I started the topic of entity. I'll just wrap it up. That sometimes when these pizza slices become so much, so many pizza slices begin to come out, कि एक बंदे का ऑरा ऐसे इमेजिन करो कि वो होल्स से ही भरा हुआ है. There becomes tendency, sometimes people internalize their own fragments as entities. They begin to see their own energy selves. And I have had so many cases where they see themselves sleeping next to their own side. They are meditating and they feel that somebody is watching them. Once they explore, they see it's them only, their shadow dar jate hain. It's fragments of yourself sometimes taking a full role, a full image of how you are, the likeness of who you are, or seeing a childhood part of you always watching you. So, so that also sometimes is called as entitification. So where, your own fragments only become like this. We will not go to the deeper, darker topics, but sometimes these holes also attract certain energies which are not very conducive to our growth, which make us feel heavier, or intrusions and extrusions, the concept, that just imagine, जैसे मैं कह रहा था कि जैसे गड्ढे हो जाते हैं, so उन गड्ढों में कुछ भर भी तो जाएगा ना, as in, some dirty water, sometimes, it happens, certain messy things happen. And once somebody is really has been made to go through such vulnerable situations in their life, that there has been some constant attack, constant overwhelm on their mental, physical, emotional body, then they begin to invite external parts, external fragments, which whatever, in all religions and in all cultures, people have their own names and stories around it. जैसे कहते हैं ना ओपरी हवा. So, that actually basically means an external air, that air that is not of my essence. I've started attracting superficial layers which do not belong to me, and I welcomed them. Just like, sometimes we try and fill our voids by attracting the wrong lovers. Energetically, you sometimes start attracting not the right energies sometimes in your field as well. That's not the topic for the day, but that is all, so that is why, the idea of soul loss or energy loss or leakage of your energy is, it's a very vast topic. So now I will go to the main area which I want to discuss in today's talk, which is about power loss. So I want you all to think, because I have to knit it with the idea of your profession, about your success, about your personal life. Why did I choose this topic? Because power has been one topic that even as a child, even though, as a child, you do not have a lot of power challenges with the world, I somehow had a lot of power issues. It was as if I don't know who has taken my power away, but I always felt powerless, power loss to powerless, and through all the trainings that I went through, through multiple spiritual programs, psychotherapeutic programs, all the La La Land I visited during my training years, uh, power was always a very intriguing topic for me. And I felt that, I really have to work with this idea that why do I feel that a certain part of me is not in power? And that is how I came across so much of work that could have been, and that I did eventually, that could be done on me to retrieve my strength, to retrieve my own power, the power that belongs to me. And I realized, there were just some random belief systems and whatever, whether you today call it as past life challenges or intergenerational challenges, but there were definitely a lot of power issues. So I began to create modules around how can we work on retrieving and reclaiming our power. So I started calling it as reclaiming our essence, because hai to mera essence hi na, and I have to reclaim it. And how do we do it? So, what do you understand when I talk about power loss? If I use the nomenclature power loss today, what do you understand? I'll share what I understand out of it. So for me, power loss is a lesser intense term than soul loss. Because when we are using the word soul loss, like I showed you, it's actually a fragmentation. It's like, sometimes we are trying to say as if a part of you has been cut out, a part of you has been fragmented. It's a little bit deeper. How I understand power loss does not need always a trauma to happen. For me, power losses happen due to exhaustion. For me, power losses happen due to burnout. For me, power loss sometimes has happened definitely due to certain traumas. For me, power loss could have been just leakage of energy, me giving away my power because I had certain intergenerational thoughts or belief systems that did not allow me to really stand in my power. Every time power came to me, I consciously gave it away, or I consciously opened the nozzles to leak, make it leak out. So for me, when I'm talking about power loss, I'm talking about dissipation of your own energy. It's lesser to do with fragmentation. It's more to do with dissipation. It's as if constantly some part of you just gets withered off. It just gets washed away every time you try and do something. You want to confront somebody, you feel so powerless, you just, walk away. You want to achieve success, you feel so fearful of the public that you don't do something. You want to go and maybe start making reels and videos, but you don't feel powerful or confident enough. Maybe you have certain inferiority complex. Maybe आपका कारोबार में मन नहीं लगता. Maybe because that's also power, the power to work, and your joy and the power of work has basically fizzled out, as if every time you're motivated to do something and you get on to doing something, and then suddenly you just feel so burnt out. Any area where you could have stood in your best capacity, when that is not happening, I see that as a power loss. And shamanically, because even though I don't intend to take you through any of those processes, because it has its own requirements and preparation and preliminary steps if you want to do it correctly, and complexities, I should say. And sometimes, these complex processes are way more refined and way more powerful than just talking about it. Just experiencing those things are very powerful. And I wish for all of you that may you get the access to experience these things in its true essence. But for today, I will tone it down and I will make it more psychotherapeutic than talking about the dimensions in the worlds, because it's too hallucinatory for those who are new here, for those who are new to this idea. So in shamanism, there are a lot of metaphorical conversations that happen. They call their whatever, like if we can call as meditation, some people call it as channeling. Multiple people have their own ways of going within. In shamanism, some of you must know that the word is called as journeying. So in the journeys, there are metaphors. You see, for somebody, the clouds may mean sadness. For somebody, the clouds may mean, water coming in. For somebody, the clouds may mean, clouds moving may mean confusion going away. So all these images and signs and symbols have their own meanings. So they define power through the idea of animals and spirit guides, because it's the raw, it's the potent form of energy. So they work with the idea of power animals, and they work with the idea of the strength of certain animals, etc. And a story, a lore around power loss is that when a certain part of you is not honored enough, when a certain part of you goes through a certain disruption, that particular animal, the power that it had, walks out of your field. Let's say, for example, what do I mean? You said, "Ore, मैं तो बहुत तगड़ा होता था, मैं तो क्या भागता था, I used to do gymming and I used to play and everything, and suddenly मैं तो बिस्तर पे पड़ गया." So they may say that the medicine of the horse, as in maybe one of your power animals was horse, and it has walked out of your field. And that is said to be a way of power loss, that as if what I'm talking about essence, that a certain essence has been lost. So how do they guide is they have their own ceremonies and beautiful, very beautiful methods of retrieving those things called as power animal retrieval. And, they have their own soul retrieval ceremonies and multiple things, that can be done, journeying to meet that lost essence and bring it back and, bring that energy back in. In regression, how do we do it? Some of you must have done it when you're working with inner children. We say, go and meet that part, which needs your attention the most. Go and meet that part of you, who gave away its power. Go and meet that part, which went through a certain situation that led to you feeling so empty. Or go to that lifetime, which will reveal to you the roots of this certain XYZ phenomenon. How do we see it intergenerationally? We help you with your core sentences. We help you understand in your family who must have gone through a certain thing. Maybe your mother's mother lost her mother as a child, and a part of her essence, a part of her soul, she lost. And since then, there has been a certain, interruption in the flow of love in your lineage, as if a part of the certain family soul got lost, as if a certain part of the flow of love got disrupted. Or maybe your grandfather was ashamed in Bhari Sabha, maybe in public, your grandfather was ashamed, his power was taken away, and now you continue to identify with the loss of the power that your grandfather felt. So you have begun to identify with a certain individual's power loss. So the stories could be many. That is why, you need refined people to help you work with this. Because, जब आप लोग अटक जाते हो ना, मुझे तो shamanism से करना है, मुझे तो past life से करना है, मुझे तो inner child से करना है, method पे मत जाया करो. Focus on the idea of resolving your issues. Whatever the रास्ता may be, fix the right GPS. ये रास्ता नहीं काम करेगा तो GPS दूसरा रास्ता बना देगा. Maybe ये दोनों रास्ते आपने भूल गए तो वो एक बहुत लंबा रास्ता बना देगा जिसमें आगे से जाके पीछे वापस आना पड़ेगा. But your goal should be that I want to feel whole. I want to feel better. There is another, Native American quote that says, that all sickness is homesickness. That the idea is that, what we are trying to do is to really come back home in our true home, which is our spiritual self, which is, certain schools call as, merging with higher self, certain schools call as becoming one with heart. Some schools call us oneness. Whatever, भाषाएं बहुत सारी हैं. Even the idea of soul retrievals and soul essence and power retrievals. And I will not take you through retrievals through ceremonies. I will be taking you and guiding you through all of this through my own, through regression therapy majorly. Bringing back those essences, nurturing them, and then seeing what can we do about it. So, just मेरे दिमाग में thought आया. So this happens a lot in the therapy world. The moment we talk about ये आपका part है, and इसको आपको, लेकर आना है, do not be in a hurry to bring it back. It takes time to nurture these parts, to work with these fragments. I have seen a tendency for people वो फटाफट से कोई part को पकड़ के ले आएंगे, oh come and I will welcome you, you come in my body, I love you, उसको body में डालते जाते हो. I will, there is a certain way how you work with these stories. There is a certain way how you work with these fragments. There's a certain style how you should be honoring these parts first. So whatever method, whatever style you use, you have to understand that there has to be two steps to this part. One, that you will have to, whatever was the reason that you lost the power, you have to first bring that power back or nurture it or begin to work with it and give it the space in your energy sphere. And as and when it will feel right, as and when it will be ripe, as and when your body will be fertile again to welcome it back, these integrations happen naturally. And that is why multiple sessions sometimes happen. That is the first step, to address the energy part, the energy of your essence. The second step is to also work with the traumatic memory, if you can recall that, or if you have any. Let's say if you're just bringing a childhood part of you without knowing sometimes that, it left because somebody's parent or somebody's sibling died. Now, even though the part is back, you are unable to fully integrate it. You are unable to fully process the information that whatever happened, happened. It was the fate of that individual, that individual died. And now I have to accept the death as well. I don't have to only do the energy play of bringing that part back, but I also in my heart have to open my heart into accepting that such and such traumatic memory happened. Once I can accept the reality, whether abuse happened, whether shock happened, once I can see that, once I can work with the memory of my trauma and address the energy part of it, integration happens then. Healing happens then, and then the effects can be very efficient. Then the effects can be very fulfilling. And I am a living example. I thought I'll share my stories and etc. But we don't have enough time today for me to talk about me and my stories of why I, promote the idea of reclaiming your essence, standing in your power, and step by step, ये एक session का काम नहीं होता है. This is like, it's like an inner work where you give yourself the permission to welcome back your essence as and when you are able to, as and when the body is ready to. And every time a certain leakage happens, you are okay with it, you address it, and you welcome your power back into your body. So you use whatever technique, the methodology remains same, like what I mentioned, that you address what happened, and the other, you address the energy part of it. Now, once we understand this, how does life change? In my experience, what I've begun to realize is that when we welcome these parts, we take our own time. We take our own time to now become comfortable with our new self. So that is why, before you guys start asking me, Ujjwal, then can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? Because I've begun to see those questions. I want to put a pause right here, right now. This is an awareness talk where I'm trying to introduce you to the idea, to the topic of what could have been one of the reasons why you feel so depleted, why you feel a certain lack of joy alert, a certain lack of fulfillment, continuous losses of money, etc. This could be one of the approaches. Find your own therapist. And find somebody with whom you can do committed work. Most therapists are trained into this work. What I'm talking, it's not Ujjwal information, or it's not everybody has their own approach. सबकी अपनी कला होती है, सबकी अपनी मेथड होता है इश्यूज को देखने का. But this is not me trying to ask you that now you have to only work with this. And the other word of caution I want to put is that stop going to people and say मुझे soul retrieval कराना है, मुझे power retrieval कराना है. कभी भी ऐसे नहीं होता है. A good practitioner never says अच्छा soul retrieval कराना, चलो soul पकड़ने, soul ढूंढने चले. This is when you're working on yourself, it happens as an outcome that when you're working with your inner children, you happen to feel that, this is such a beautiful inner child that I lost. My childlikeness, it went through so much of drama, trauma. And once the therapist helps you process the story, it naturally begins to integrate. That is retrieval. When you're going to a certain past life and, you feel itna drama was past life mein, as if, I to just lost the hope of living my life. So once you're done with the processing the drama of your past life, and then you see your soul, the essence of the soul, आपके सामने वो मर्ज होने लग जाता है. And then you say कि whatever happened in the past, it's over. I can reignite the hope of living life fully once again. And then you bring that essence back in your present life. Sometimes when you are just working with your simple memory or EFTs or whatever, your memory deletions and empowerments, sometimes maybe a boss said something really bitchy to you 3 months back, and that just felt that as if it took your power away. Just addressing that part sometimes makes you feel that, whatever he said is now out of my system. I can welcome back my hope or my strength. So these retrievals mostly should be organic. Unless a trained practitioner guides you, otherwise that Baba, we have to find. जब हम लोगों के पास कई केसेस आते हैं जो बार बार ये बोलते हैं, जिनको पता नहीं होता और जो ढूंढ के भी नहीं ला पा रहे होते हैं, they come to us and say, I feel I have lost a part of me. And उनको कुछ नहीं पता होता है वो क्या बोल रहे हैं. But they're constantly showing, I feel I've lost a part of me. I feel I'm not whole enough. They often say, Ujjwal, I feel as if I'm full of holes. These are exact terms I'm using that my clients have used. That is where a refined hand would take you through that journey where the therapist would say, let's go to find what is that part that you've been looking for. Which is this part, that you've been talking about. What happened that you had to lose this part of you? Or how a shamanic practitioner would deal, it is very different. That is a spirit guided. Like I said, that's like hiring and outsourcing through a spiritual vendor. And then that spirit guide helps you hunt for your fragments. They heal it, they clean it, just like how a regression therapist would deal with the memories, process it, and then help you integrate it. An energy healer or a shamanic healer or practitioner would deal with the energy of it, the scene of it, first sort that out, bring a certain guardian with it, bring that energy back, probably bring a power animal with it to seal it, to integrate it, to protect it. It happens step by step. So do not, after this session, I don't want you to be going to your therapist and saying, mujhe soul retrieval or power retrieval karna hai. Worst way to address your issues. This is a consequence we are telling that because of whatever you must have gone through, this could have happened. And you can start looking from this lens into your life issues. And as you look through this, it might open up certain more possibilities for better resolution and better healing in your life here. Okay. So, with all this story, like I was telling that, this could impact any of your life areas. Joining Hands and I decided that we will be creating a workshop to help you regain your power. So I guess Kanishka will also be sharing some details with all of you that we plan to do to discuss this topic in detail. Or, towards the end of this month, over a weekend, we have a 4 to 5 hour workshop on reclaiming your essence. So there I will not only be focusing upon professional success, honestly. The focus is not only professional success, the focus is reclaiming our power. What method are we going to be using majorly? We are going to be using regression therapy to reclaim and work through our lost essence in a group. We will not be doing one-on-one work. We will be doing group therapy over the weekend. And it might be interesting. I can check if I have the link. I should have the link somewhere on my WhatsApp and I will share it eventually. So we will be discussing this topic session-wise, in sessions that what are the steps and what are the practices that we can incorporate to help us regain our power back. So now, you know, I can either go on and then it will become boring, and it might have become for some of you. I'm open to listening to questions. I spoke continuously, for 50 minutes. Uh, so what are your thoughts? What are your observations? What are your queries? What do you want to understand? What do you want any clarification upon? While you're asking, I will quickly go through the chats. Does anybody have any question? Somebody said, like, my daughter's illness changed me as a person. This is very real. Some strong illness जो आपके ऊपर नहीं भी आई होती है, sometimes it's so affecting that you feel, I'm just giving an example. I really don't know your case, ma'am, but this case that मैं इतना healing करता हूँ, मैं इतना meditation करता हूँ, and I couldn't do anything for my family. And you make a belief system that this power is of no use, and you lose your power. You give a power, you let go a part of you, you let a certain power of you walk out of your body, or as if a metaphor, an animal walks out of you, or a molecule, or a certain vital essence you lose. That is power loss. Mostly सबका marriage से सब कुछ खेला है in the chat box. सबकी शादियों के बाद कुछ ना कुछ हुआ हुआ है. But it does, it sometimes challenges your power. Somebody saying after losing. So through death also this happens. Father depreciating somebody. Somebody saying resonate with every word. How sweet, sometimes listening to all of this, see how things begin to be touched. Humiliation does this, making you feel worthless. Yes. No, because it is too much of overwhelm. That is why I was trying to refrain from using the word trauma, because who defines trauma? So anything that has really overwhelmed you, that you individually have not been able to handle with, is a traumatic experience for you. And that leads to these losses. Can I throw some light on therapists who do this work? I would not, I have a lot of people, I guess, but Joining Hand is such a wonderful portal. I am not recommending myself right now because even though this is my niche and this is, I don't want to commit to things that I cannot take up. My current schedule will not allow. But there are some excellent therapists, all these superheroes that Joining Hands brings in. And all these therapists, you can check whosoever you resonate with, or if you have a therapist, you can work with them, definitely. What if we have lost power at different stages or levels of life and also don't know about it? Bilkul. So ये एक बारी थोड़ी होता है. It happens multiple times, and that is why we take time in reclaiming our own selves fully. आप एक लाइफ की क्या बात कर रहे हो? मैं तो इंटरजेनरेशनल भी बात कर रहा हूँ. Like how like I said, let's say भरी सभा में किसी के grandfather को या किसी के father को ही. I have a current client, I don't know, she might be listening to me as well. So her case is that, her father was humiliated a lot in the family, and father is dead, but she still feels so much, charged by the shame that the father went through, that she carries it, that she feels it's a power loss for her. So it's not only about your sometimes, when we go into energy, I am talking about past lives as well. So, power loss can be beyond time and space as well. So definitely we lose it over stages. We lose it over levels. In layers only we can work with it. There is no, I don't want to hypnotize any of you and say only, sometimes God bless you, maybe one session is enough for all of you. But what I'm trying to say is that address as and when things come. This is a multi-layered work. That is why this is, you don't have to always be worried about कि कितना काम करना पड़ेगा. जब life में सही time आएगा, when you will be ripe, only then these retrievals, these reclamations, these regaining, this rejuvenation of your own essence happens. You can't force it. Like I'm telling you, don't go to your therapist and ask for it. It happens when your body is ripe. That is why I said ये जो idea ना, फटाफट एक part को पकड़ के लाओ और उसको hug करके अंदर घुसा दो. If any of you is my client here, I bring the part, we nurture it for some time, and we say integration will happen on its own. You continue to work with the energy of it. The integration happens very beautifully on its own. ठीक है, सो मैंने कर लिए मोस्टली सारी चीजें। हाँ, agree with every point, no will to do anything. Again, no will to anything, I'm just reading your sentence, ma'am. I don't know what you're talking about, but no will to do anything. Again, money nahi hai, as if a part of you is just given up. कुछ करने का मन ही नहीं है, किसी चीज पे विश्वास ही नहीं है, किसी चीज पे जॉय ही नहीं है, रस नहीं है, when you are losing a juice of life. So again, go back to what I said. Same story. ठीक है? हाँ, yes, now all those who want to speak, I'm happy to chat for 5-7 minutes. Yes, go ahead, Nishant.
Yeah, so like you rightly said, this is not like a one-time workshop and you can, kind of finish it over and all. So this is obviously in the 2-day workshop or something, it'll be a beginning of a
Beginning
process
an
of reclaiming.
introduction. Yes, कि कहीं तो शुरुआत हो.
So then will you be
And
having
that
this kind
workshop
of
is not intended on soul retrieval. It is on reclaiming your essence. The topic is going to be power. Wherever I have felt that I've given up my power, could be this life as a child or could be another life. The goal is reclamation.
Okay. So my question here is, will a weekend or a 2-day thing be enough, or should we be having once every month to kind of, because there is a tendency to lose back again, or, things coming in again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So then
that
would you
is
be
where,
having this?
So yeah, so exactly, that's so I had this discussion with the backend team with whom I decide all these things. I told them, this has to be an ongoing thing. But right now, so if I don't know how much you know about the work that I do. We wrap up the work जितना भी हम करते हैं कि उस time के लिए वो close हो जाए, so that I don't like Pandora's boxes being open here and there, and because I am a strong believer that हम लोग गृहस्थ हैं, as in like I am a very गृहस्थ person. मेरे घर में पानी का इशू, बिजली का इशू, खाने का इशू, जॉब का ये, एंड आई हैव वेरी रेगुलर लाइफ चैलेंजेस. लाइक आज सुबह भी, I had my very घरेलू issues. So I say that, I cannot be one of those people who is saying, oh, my inner child is feeling sad today, so I will not look into my bijli ka issue. If I have to fix something, I have to fix something. So you better wrap up everything that you opened up in a session. So whatever we will do for those 2 days in those 4-5 hours, utna us type ke liye wo wrap ho jayega. But then there are multiple aspects to life. So that is why I'm saying this is ongoing work. And that is why मैंने इसी में awareness talk में बोले that I'm really sorry that right now currently I'm not available for one-on-one work. But a workshop is happening for you to introduce yourself to this. If it resonates, maybe work towards the idea. आज का पता है मैंने meditation जो सोचा था मैं 5 मिनट में आज करा दूंगा was only to work and invite that may I invite the right resources to guide me on the path of becoming whole. It was not anything to do with reclamation or retrieval. It was a prayer which I may make you all do for 5 minutes, that may I send out that intention out in the universe, that send me the resources, send me the guidance. Sometimes what happens is कई लोग कहते हैं I went to a certain temple and I felt so much of powerful. That is one of the ways to heal, that you go to a certain thumb, you go to a certain place where the external energy is so powerful that it helps you. Agar pizza ka triangle nikla hua, it will clean it and knit it through back into your structure. So that is why a lot of people find they don't need sometimes external support, and they are able to, with their own sadhana, with their own practices, with their own kriyas as well, they are able to regain their power. So do not go with the idea that my way is the only way to solve for it. These are one of the ways. So we will try our work. We will do our work in a introductory method, in a 4 to 5 hour method. But this is an ongoing thing. मैंने कितने साल अपने ऊपर, मेरे को, power तो मेरा favorite topic होता था. So I've spent years, and very beautifully it works. It works. It helps you feel so empowered and strong in your own system.
Okay, then looking forward to that meditation. If you can do it, that'll be helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Hanji Shiraz ji.
Okay, so Ujjwal, once we do this workshop with you and we open the Pandora's box, then will you have the time to handhold and take us through on a one-to-one basis if you think that we require it?
I hope in 2025 I should be available. Abhi, honestly, I don't want to commit and then not
because
be available.
Because you are more unavailable than I don't want to say it.
I know.
Because I've messaged you and you haven't replied.
So I'm owning it. So that is why I'm saying, whatever work will happen in workshop, I will, try my best not to make anybody feel that we have opened something and now what to do about it. Whatever we will open, we will address them in those 3 to 4 sessions in those 2 days. And we will, the intention of the workshop is such that the spaces, every workshop that we open, this space will be so safe and will be so intact, and the guides working with it will ensure that you're able to wrap it up. So step 1 will be complete. Maybe step 2 and step 3 will eventually happen as the guy, as the right people will invite the right resources.
Okay. So tell me, this workshop will happen over Saturday and Sunday. What are the timings?
3
Because
to 5.
don't forget, just as you have a Gresti, we are also Gresti.
Exactly, Tabi. So
that
my
is the
timings
reason
are
why we
after
can't.
lunch.
Yeah, good.
So my timings are usually after lunch. If all the work that
3
I
to
do
6, 3
is
to 5.
usually before food, after dinner, after housework. So all my timings are like that.
So
So
if you tell
3
us
to
what
5.
timing is this 3 to 5,
3 to
great. Then
5.
it will be, then we will be able to join. Otherwise, it becomes difficult. Great. I will be there with you.
So we'll see you there. Baki, so much more to explore. Always know that this topic is very large, and I couldn't do justice within an hour to discuss the nitty-gritties of it. This is just an awareness talk. It's just like, spilling some information, trying to knit it and make some sense out of it. But I invite all of you to explore this as a learning, and in your meditations, give yourself the permission that may I find the resources to feel more whole, to feel more complete, and you will naturally feel. I had a habit in between of sleeping with an intention. So all of you can start with this. I had a habit of sleeping with an intention that may I reconnect with those parts of me which are ready, which are ripe, which are healed, which are balanced. May I integrate them as I sleep. And I used to, I'm a believer. So I used to put my Hanumanji, my Krishna, and all my Bhagwans to, take care of me as whatever the healing happens. And I feel, as you begin to sleep with that thought, even in your dream state, I used to integrate, and I used to eventually, after a few days, wake up feeling more charged up, and eventually I found certain differences in my life. I've used it for particular issues as well, for certain areas where I felt powerless, for just becoming a person who feels very powerful in himself, for just feeling that the presence is so powerful, multiple areas. So these are very what should I say? These are very large terms that we talk about. This power is not being about political power or violent power or Mardhar wali power. It is just you feeling yourself in your wholeness, in your essence, in your power. Right? So instead of taking more questions, let's just wrap it up with a 5-minute meditation with a prayer. That may this awareness talk open up beautiful channels of healing for each one of you. So I invite all of you to close your eyes, sit comfortably. I know some of you want to run away, some of you want to pee, some of you are being called out, and etc. So we'll wrap it up timely. I want you all to just sit comfortably and take 3 deep breaths. As you take 3 deep, relaxing, healing breaths, I want you to now begin to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Once again, I want you to inhale the relaxation, the peace, the ease through your nose, and exhale out all the worries, the tensions, the distractions, the questions, the queries out through your mouth. As you do that, I want you to visualize a beautiful, glorious golden sun in front of you. Visualize yourself in a beautiful space of nature where you feel the greenery and see the rising sun, the early morning sun. Whether you've seen it in your life or not, visualize that you are in a beautiful meadow, in a beautiful space where there is such freshness, dewdrops on grass. You can feel the freshness, you can sense the tender coldness in the air. And in front of you, you're facing east. You're facing the rising sun in front of you. And I want you to simply breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And look at the sun and invite in any spirit guide, master, spiritual teacher, benevolent spirit healing guide, whosoever you have faith in. And allow this beautiful spirit energy to shine upon the golden light of divine upon you. Visualize yourself being infused with the golden healing rays of the sun. As you visualize yourself being engulfed in the beautiful golden rays, see this beautiful, beautiful golden sunlight cleansing you, healing you, reconnecting you with your divine self. And as you invite this beautiful energy, as you visualize the sun, I want you to send out an invitation saying, "Oh divine, oh Jesus, oh Krishna, oh Rama, oh Devi, oh Shakti, oh Surya, oh Brahman, bless me. Bless me with the right resources, with the right spiritual medicine, with the healing that helps me reclaim my own power, my own essence, my own strength. May I be guided. May I attract, may I invite the right teachers, right resources, right spiritual guides, and opportunities in my life to welcome the parts of me that are truly mine, to stand in my power, to feel the strength, the energy, the grace of my core essence. May I find the right opportunities to reclaim my vital essence, my vital life force, my Shakti. Guide me and bless me as I open my heart to receiving the wisdom, the essence, and the medicine of the divine, the healing of the divine, through all those means that are meant for my highest good. May it happen only when I'm ready. May it happen with ease. And may all of this happen with grace and joy. And as mentioned, my dear friends, I want you to continue to look at the morning sun, the rising sun. And even though wherever in the globe you are, the sun may be about to set, the sun may have set, the sun may be about to rise, does not matter. The sun exists. I want you to be in tune with this morning sun. And I want you to sing with me, whether you are a singer or not, an invocation that has come through oral traditions, even to me, inviting the retrieval of our power, the retrieval of our essence through the grace of the morning sun. I will first tell you the lyrics. Just continue to look upon the sun, and then we will sing it. You will sing it with me. You will sing after me. We will be saying, morning sun, come my way, come my way. Come my way, come my way. Take my pain, take my pain. Take my pain, take my pain. Down below, down below. Down below, down below. Cool waters down below. We will be singing this to the glorious morning sun. And you may even use this as an activity to connect with the sun every time you wish to be with the sun. Let us do it all together. Morning sun, come my way, come my way. Morning sun, come my way, come my way. Come my way, come my way. Take my pain, take my pain. Come my way, come my way. Take my pain, take my pain. Take my pain, take my pain. Down below, down below. Take my pain, take my pain. Down below, down below. Down below, down below. Cool waters down below. Cool waters down below. Once again with me. Morning sun, come my way, come my way. Morning sun, come my way, come my way. Come my way, come my way. Take my pain, take my pain. Take my pain, take my pain. Down below, down below. Down below, down below. Cool waters down below. Cool waters down below. Cool waters down below. Visualize the glorious rays of the sun shining upon you. This is a beautiful prayer that has been very energizing and has been passed down through oral traditions, inviting the strength of the sun for retrievals. May you be guided, may you be strengthened with the power to feel whole, complete, and in your true essence. It is my wish and my blessing that may you be open to the resources, to the channels, and all the grace and all the paths that will empower you towards your best self. Thank you so much, everybody, for staying with me throughout this session. Taking a few deep breaths, you can open your eyes. And I will hope to see you soon on another window whenever possible. You can drop a few messages helping me know, helping me understand if the session had any meaning for you, made any sense to you. Happy to improve, happy to do better next time we meet. Chaliye. See you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.